Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Star Citizenship. We are on episode number 8 now. How cool is that?
Mm-hmm. It's very cool. 10 actually, but eight
Well,
regular
I
ones,
mean,
right?
yeah, 8 regular ones. We did have a couple special episodes. If you haven't checked those out, Masocast and Zinnian Zero were our special
Definitely.
guests. Yes,
A lot of
very,
fun.
very fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun hanging out with those guys. A little bit different podcast this time around. Just as a forewarning, not a lot's been going on. We all know that there's been some delays with 3.9. It's been a little slow on the news front as far as Star Citizen. So this format of the podcast is going to be a little bit different. We'll discuss some of the things that we've heard over the past couple weeks. And then we'll go into more of a showcase slash what we did in Star Citizen over the last
And
couple
yeah,
weeks,
it was
which
something nice.
yeah, it's gonna be very cool. You guys, I'll link a video so that way you guys can check it out. There's gonna be another video or two coming soon for some more stuff.
And,
But
and some people might engage into it as well.
yeah, and we'll get into those details in just a little
Yeah.
while ago, so stay tuned so you can get more details on that. Uh,
Wait, before, since we have time though, how do you
okay.
feel about 10 episodes? It's like a small anniversary kind of
It's like a milestone.
milestone, yeah.
I don't know, man. It still feels the same as episode 1 for me. Like I
Really?
still
I
yeah,
don't think so.
I still get well, I mean the excitement of it and being able to like like I said before in several episodes, like every game I played in the past has just been play the game. I don't really get into lore. I don't get into, what's coming into the game. I
Not
never.
engaged.
No, I'm not engaged in any of the stuff that's going on. A lot of the stuff like we played Elder Scrolls. I never read any patch notes, any upcoming events, anything like that. I never got into any of that kind of stuff. Not
I
the way
had to.
like I did with this. Yeah, exactly. So
Um, but
so
I
I
can tell you, I think we're more chill, especially, remember the
yeah,
first episode. If I went back to it, it's like kind of stiff and all
when
that.
when
Now
we
we're
couldn't even announce the name of our
yes,
podcast.
yeah, yeah.
Star Citizenship.
But I'm loving it. It's
Yeah.
probably when it comes to like content creation, especially now that I'm like slowing down big time. This is the main thing that I do when it comes to like appearing online
Yeah.
and brings joy to my days,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. And that's the thing that keeps me engaged in this game the most is being able to meet up every couple weeks and at least see what is going on and kind of look forward to the future of the game. Even though we know there's some hiccups going on right now,
Oh,
it's
definitely.
still
Yeah.
exciting. I'm still can't wait for 3.9 to drop because I mean, with the new prison system coming in, Microtech, it's going to be, or not just Microtech, but new Babbage on Microtech, I should say.
And
Uh,
moons and
yeah,
yeah,
it's
kind
going to
of
be,
content on Microtech. Let's put it that way.
yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. And even if it is delayed, like we said in previous episodes, we can understand the delays that may be going on. It may not just be related. We know we've heard desync issues, but it may be related to some other things too we don't know of. But like we said before, we kind of figured with all the stuff that's been going on with coronavirus that we would probably see quite a bit of delays right now. So it is what it is.
Yes,
Um,
which
so
I'll just go over with that, right?
yeah,
But I agree. Obviously, um, the entire world is feeling the hit, uh, and I definitely expected Star Citizen to be, affected by it. However, I will be that salty person every time. Probably. I what I don't like is them telling us, no, no, we're fine. We're not going to be affected. The patches will not be delayed. And then okay, so the entire thing is kind of crazy because so they said they already have that, kind of implemented, work from home and whatnot, and it's gonna be like, easy transition. And then they tried to mask it even more by being like, well, it would be out, but we have some serious issues. And then now we are like a month in. No, 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 no. 20, well, 3 weeks,
Yep,
right?
3 weeks.
We're
Yep.
3 weeks late for the patch. And finally, after 3 weeks of saying that it's not because of COVID, now we have, the CRG saying, well, because of the pandemic, we are being affected and it's affecting our progress as well. And I don't know about you, man, but I don't like that kind of um I don't even know how to call that. I'm okay. I like trusting the company whose game I back, whose game I play, which game I make content for. I like being able to say, "Chill out, guys. They said, this, right?" And I'm losing the trust. I have to say, and it's kind of sad to me because I just like I would be happier if we had like bluntly honest for these simple things, like just saying we don't know. We think we're going to be okay, but we might be affected and we might get delays,
Yeah. Well, and
or like,
I think part of it was they were probably a little more optimistic about how easy it would be to transition because they're thinking to themselves, well, it's just everybody working on computers anyways, they can work on them from home as it is, but it,
true.
especially for myself, my work is impacted right now because there's new things that you have to try and handle on top of doing your full-time job, which I, I
A,
think
a lot
that's
of them have kids as well.
yeah,
Like they
and
have, like family.
I think that's what's attributed a lot to what's going on right now is there's a lot of adjustment that they didn't forecast with them switching to this remote work. So
I agree, but when do you learn, right? So just in the past few weeks, let's say a month, we had unnecessary hype about the Idris that no one was expecting in game, which they announced, made one of their weekly videos about, and then just removed it. Then we had hyped up, 3.9 on time. It was almost like, I don't know, man. Like, and then removing like no, being late probably a month. I'm sure PU, because I don't care about PTU, but PU probably a month, even more.
mhm,
And then you have like major points like they were just next patch. So if you think about it, we are technically in 3.9 era already, right? So whatever is removed now from 4.0, which we're going to talk about, is removed from the next patch. So then there's again, we hype up about, the Horizon, we hype about Crusader, which are big things, right? We're finishing the system, getting ready to jump into Pyro, and then newsflash, if you don't know, these are moved.
yeah.
So um
Well, I think most of the people listening to this podcast, I would say, don't be shocked when a lot more things are going
no,
to get pushed back further and further, and we're going to see things go from our 2020 roadmap into 2021 now. So,
for sure. And I just want to make clear again, I always have to do this. I sound very negative. I think part of it is because of where I'm from, and it sometimes it does not translate. I'm not native in English, but I'm totally 100% okay with them delaying things. That's never an issue for me. Obviously, I want everything to come out now, but I'm okay with things being delayed, especially for a good reason, and even for no reason that I can understand, because they are developing the game, and there's no date set in stone for that. You never know, things go wrong, or crazy stuff like what we're living in right now happens. The only issue I have with is communication. It's always that. It's just, hey, just you can just say, well, we think we might be okay, but we don't know. We might be delayed.
yeah.
And for me, it's immediately different. Then I can say, because I like feeling like I represent this game because I love it and I trust them. And then someone can come and say, "Hey, man, what is this shit?" I can say, "Calm down, bro. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
said they will try, but do you see what's happening around?" But now, what do I say? Like, they lied to us that they're okay, and they were pushing the lie for 3 weeks, and then they said, now that truth, that is probably a truth in my mind. Now it sounds like an excuse, like using the pandemic for an excuse
Well,
because if you follow the train of thoughts, right?
yeah.
We're okay. Something's wrong. Okay, we COVID. I don't like that, man.
Well,
I'm not saying
and
they're
I'm
doing that,
pretty
but
sure on our last regular podcast, that was one thing that I touched point on was that it's to the point where we know there's going to be delays, we know there's going to be issues with it, but just don't use it as an excuse for everything because I mean at some point you're now a month into this new world of what we're doing and you got to be able to settle into it. I mean, I've been able to create a new routine and adapt to what's going on around me in the world. So at some point, you guys gotta, understand that you can. I would understand. I totally understood when 3.9 was gonna be getting delayed. I figured
I agree.
probably at least a couple weeks. And then now it does seem like instead of using the uh, hey, we're having issues with it. Now they're trying to say, well, due to COVID. Well,
After saying it's not the issue,
yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
and they said immediately, like, "Hey, you know, hey, what can you do?" Then it's fine. Like
yeah,
try figuring out.
well,
It's a bit of a shame in my eyes. Not, I mean, it's reasonable, uh, but at the same time, it's a bit of a shame. Just like we said before, everyone has more time on their hands, and we are kind of locked in, especially in some places. And it would be great time for a lot of citizens to test the new content. Probably get frustrated, but it's new, so it's fine. But yeah, it is what it is. It will come out. Although some people are speculating that they might go straight to 4.0. I don't think that's happening, though.
no,
I really
no,
don't.
definitely not. I mean, and
They're trying.
kind of going into now what we've been hearing. So we've heard a lot from the Evo testers about a lot of desync issues, and that seems to be plaguing this update right now. Is we heard all the way up until Friday that they could possibly push it out into PTU over the weekend, and here we are on Monday and we still don't have it in PTU. So it obviously they're having some kind of issues with the latest patch or the latest update, but I mean, hopefully, I really, really hope that this week is going to be the week that they can finally get it into PTU. And instead of doing waves, just throw it out there. Just let
Oh, I
everybody
don't think
get
they're gonna
into
do
it in the
that.
PTU, test it out, and then we can, get it rolled out. Hopefully by the end of the week into the PU. So, but again, we don't know what's going on because we can't tell. I didn't see any kind of update for Evo over the weekend. Did you see anything?
So there were some interesting things, and as in Salty Mike's answer the call, Xylo actually showed up in the chat and explained. That's where the news came for potential end of the week release, and then Disco Land also talked about it in Star Citizen Live and said we'll try at the end of this weekend. And my sources tell me, because neither of us are Evocati, but we know some people that they had a PTU patch ready to go, tried to push it out, it kind of failed, was not good enough, and they had to withdraw, kind of.
Yeah.
What I'm picking up from majority of the vocal community that is creating any kind of content is so the desync is not something that is happening on PTU. Sorry, Evocati, or like let's say 3.9, extremely much more than it's happening in 3.8, point X, whatever. It's more of them shifting that focus on trying to remove the desync in the PU, kind of like battling that, as you know, and a lot of people are actually finding that the most important feature in 3.9 if they manage to do that. And if you think about it, it would be like, imagine actually not having a desync. Um, but I find it hard to believe that it will happen. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's a big thing. So if they make it, if there's no desync, fuck it. Like, month or two is worth waiting for that. If from now on we don't have desync in the game, like in FPS or like stuff like that, I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. We'll see.
it's like, it's not an eye candy. It's not a new ship. It's not, but it's not a new planet. But if you like stop for a moment and say, oh my, like the game will be so much more playable after this, it's definitely worth it. But it's all about, it's a rumor. No, I don't know if that's, only for this version or for the future, or I don't know.
Only time will tell. We'll
Yeah,
see.
definitely looking forward to it though. All right. So we had, in my opinion, the best Star Citizen Live for everyone who is interested in Star Citizen rather than maybe Squadron, or I don't know. But the reason for this is the Star Citizen Live this week was with the PU US team. So people who are developing stuff for our our home in game. You know what I mean? Like whatever these guys do, it reflects in our gameplay fully immediately, kind of. And there was a bunch of things that they touched on. We can go briefly through this and just touch on it. Obviously, Orca, just stop me whenever you feel like something is interesting to you,
Yeah.
because some of these are not. I mean, they're worth mentioning, but I don't think we need to like talk about it too much. So, in not in a particular order, uh, they mentioned asteroid collision in Quantum Flight, which is something that Chris apparently wants to have. What they said is it's very, very difficult to do right now, but they are looking into it in future. So what this might do is like making your Quantum Flight a little bit, different, because if you hit an asteroid, basically he doesn't want you to fly through a solid object, right? So
Right.
they're looking in the ways to generically, I think, add collision to any um any collidable objects in space, potentially collidable. This is one that I think we want to touch on a little bit. That's alpha UEC trading amongst players in the public universe, which now we should, if we understood correctly, should be part of a new social application that is, or update, let's say, that is coming in 3.9,
Right.
which does not mean that we're going to get to trade money in the first iteration, but that's the part of it. So they are actively working on it.
Right. Which again we discussed a little bit before the podcast how the economy, the new economy stuff that's been pushed back for Star Citizen was also supposed to introduce this credit trading. So it's still going to be interesting to me if they can implement at least the backbone or the foundations of that alpha UEC trading and be able to see the first versions of it where at least we can just send credits to one another. I mean, even if we had that functionality without having to use the beacons, that would be huge for the game.
It
So,
opens up what a lot of people might not understand, especially if you're not listening to content creators around the world, is so the first thought about being able to send money to another player is, okay, I want to help out my friend and I'm going to give them this much money, or we're going to do some money grounds together. Let's say like some of the current game cycles that we can do. So okay, I made 20,000 AUEC from that layer night run. I'm going to give you 10,000, and just like quality of life. But it's not. That's not the only thing. Um, we managed to steal ships in game full of cargo. Now you understand, like you can actually do proper ransom. It opens up potential piracy. Um, you could technically whisper someone, or find your friend and tell them, or someone else, that you're in trouble, that someone is holding you ransom, and you need help, and you send them 5,000 now and 5,000 when they help you, and stuff like that. This opens up so many opportunities with no stress. And I think if we have a simple way of um, trading the currency in game right now, it will make us more interested in doing, like, opening the game more for everyone.
Yeah.
Um,
It, I don't know. I guess we had this discussion before about how trading credits would happen. The only thing I'm worried about is how it can be exploited in the very beginning. Because, so, one of the big things that we've been talking about lately is the persistence between patch to patch. If we start seeing the credit trading being able to be implemented into the game, how is that going to be exploited? And then we're going to start seeing wipes eventually. That's one of the things that I'm kind of
what
fearful
do you
about.
think? Like duplicated, or I don't know.
I don't know. You know, someone's going to find a way to exploit credit trading in some sense.
Yes, but that's good, right? If you think about it, like we need to. That's what
Well,
we're
yeah.
doing here.
And I know they talked about in the Pillar Talk. They mentioned instead of rolling back an entire community,
Yeah,
just
certain
doing,
player.
yeah, certain players, maybe just the credits for people, things like
Hmm.
that. So it's going to be interesting to see once when they start implementing this, if we're going to see any kind of exploitation and how they're going to handle that in future wipes. So I'm really hoping that, through the next, at least this year, I'm really hoping they won't do any big wipes. I hope we get to
Oh,
keep.
until the end of the year.
I hope so. I really
I
do.
hope they wipe for 3.9, and I'll talk about that later. My account is completely destroyed, and I've found more people, but
Yeah.
they have same issues. But I'll talk about it later. So yeah, but I kind of hope like they will wipe now, and then we can have a fresh start with the big patch, and then go through until the next maybe year or something.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we might as well go into it now because one of the things that if they do the wipe now, one of the things that we were hinting at before is it sounds like we're losing stuff on the roadmap. So Crusader now being pushed out, that was going to be the big milestone for 4.0, right? Was
Yes,
yeah. So now if
Crusader
they
and Orison.
like you said, like if they were to wipe at 3.9 and let us start from scratch there, then we're not looking forward to anything huge in 4.0 now because if Crusader's getting pushed back, so it doesn't sound like they would need to do any kind of wipe at 4.0. So I don't know.
That brings sadness to me, my friend.
Sorry.
The the Crusader, the entire Crusader thing, it breaks my heart.
It is. It's very disappointing. I mean, I
Um,
I think both of us were looking forward to that. Me
oh,
personally, the biggest thing I was looking for, I could care less about actually landing on Crusader. I want the Crusader ships. So I don't know, have they touched anything on the Crusader ships being delayed, or was it just Crusader the planet?
Crusader ships are supposed to come to in 4.1 anyways.
Oh, okay.
But this major thing being moved so close to its release opened up my third eye, and with a token, I bought back my Star Runner. I melted it, man. I don't believe in that anymore.
Mm.
I'm just gonna play around with my with my credit. Like, there's no point. I think the ships got like, yeah, they might come up when they're supposed to, but I don't believe in the map anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
mention it, right? But I'm not hoping for anything.
yeah, and I think the map is going to get a lot of changes. Like I said in the beginning of the podcast, it's going to get a lot of reworks because everything that's going on right now, this is probably and so I don't know from experience. Maybe other people that know from previous ones, but have they ever had such delays with patches since they kind of got on these normal quarterly releases? Has there ever been a patch that's gone a
There was
month?
one that was almost as long as this one, I think.
Yeah.
In same length in Evocati, or just a little bit less. I think this one is now the longest. Someone will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like there. However, with removing things from the map, dude, there are ships that were supposed to be here like 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Look at Taurus, for example, and and other ships. The one that was created by community, and they had it, and then it was removed, and I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of things that just disappear from the map and end up in the void.
Yeah.
A lot of people who have been playing the game for a long time, so we don't have this perspective because we are definitely new to the game. But for us, the new ship is exciting. However, I started understanding why people get frustrated with the new concept ships and like promises for new ships. If you think about it, we are new and we are in this mindset of, okay, we have this much money on the account and we're gonna like throw it around, play with this ship, that ship. Well, now you got stuck with the ship that you have invested in, which is Emerald, which is a somewhat expensive ship that it's hard to let go of. But if you think about, imagine you buying that Emerald Phoenix now, Warbond, and getting freelancer for example. You
Hmm.
wouldn't, but imagine that being a thing,
Yeah.
because no constellation ships are in the game, and you don't want to get you don't want to get rid of it because it's Warbond LTI, and it comes because it loses its um whatever, drops in price and whatnot. And you've been waiting for this ship for 4 years, and the new ships keep coming out, but your ship is still in the pipeline 4 years later.
Yeah.
I I am starting to understand how frustrating it can be. We know some of our friends have. So Rev has Hammerhead. He never bought the Hammerhead. That's a replacement for Polaris, I think. Or and you know, he's been waiting for that Polaris for so long, and now there's talks about Idris, or I don't know, Crusader ships, and oh,
Yeah. Well, it has. That's the thing right now is that there's a very grim outlook on how things are going to progress right now, and it is quite disappointing because it seemed like leading up until about now, up until 3.9, that things were moving along pretty quickly, and it seemed like there's a lot of good traction. We even said on one of the podcasts, there's a
was
lot of
yeah.
news going on. It's like we went from slow slow news to a lot of news, and then now it's back down to not a lot going on. So um
Ooh,
so I
it's
know.
very slow, yeah. But
Yeah.
I guess that's the route before big patch. We only had one big patch, right? 3.7 point whatever we played in to 3.8. So, and that one was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
But it was the only one that we had, right? We
Yeah.
we're still green.
Yeah.
And
So
then I think we have enough experience to expect complete carnage when it happens for the first
now when we look
few
at
weeks.
4.6 when we're podcasting on that one. We can look back and be like, remember when 3.9 got delayed?
Yes. And some new guys will be like, "What is this 2 weeks?" And we're like,
Yeah. Psh,
"That's nothing."
let me tell you about the old days. So yeah, going back into the Star Citizen Live that we were watching, there's a couple other items that were mentioned, which we talked about a little bit before we started recording, which is the friends list changes, 800 people being allowed on your friends list, and the location, and being able to hop into whatever server they're on. So we know you can kind of do that now, but it's kind of limited because there's only 50 people per server, and a lot of the times when you join a server, you're not very likely to get on the same server as someone that's already been on an established server. Um, so I know we talked about this a little bit right before we started recording, and we're discussing how uh, in the friends list, if let's say Chegg is streaming and he pulls up his friends list and he sees that we're both on and I'm off doing something else, and it shows my location, that it can give away positions of other people unintentionally while you're streaming and cause other people to be griefed while they're just off doing their own thing. So that's it's an interesting thing because we've heard in the pillar talk as well that they want to get more granular on how much detail will actually show on your friends list. So you're not only going to see your friend is online, you're going to see your friend is online in the Stanton system at Magda, near whatever outpost or anything like that. So it's basically just going to be a dead giveaway for anyone that's trying to create content and stream live to show where other people are at. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can kind of hide that details or prevent it from being seen by others. I mean, as a streamer, we've dealt with this kind of stuff before where you have to position like your webcam in a certain area so that way it doesn't, show information that you don't
Or
want
if you're
to.
playing Eve, your webcam and 10,000 panels with nothing on them.
Right, right. So you're
Uh,
basically having to mask your whole screen just to be able to play. So
I, and I don't want them to base the game development on, base it on streamers or whatever, content creators. That's ridiculous. I'm against that, even though I'm a content creator. However, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm gonna use the same thing that I used when I talked to you. Is like, can you? Because we're trying to have something realistic, right? We They're trying to add the creepiest of the creepy things in game, which I think the sane humanity would never agree on. You can't just pull up your phone and see where your real life friends are at the moment.
right,
I don't want to see if Forkite is doing stuff in toilet, at, at any given time. Like, to me, this it really does not make sense, and I don't think it adds to a gameplay in any way. You are making an MMO in a vast universe, and I'm sure you want to embrace the communication between players, right? So if you give the player a good means of communication, then I can ask Orchid, hey man, you ready to hop into Yella from wherever you are? Or he can tell me, hey, I'm at Daimar. Just let's meet there. I don't think we need the pinpoint location of all our friends.
right,
I don't think that that's good. Also, so we were part of few medium-sized events in the past few weeks, and setting up the group is pain in the butt, definitely, and it needs to be worked on. But so the idea, I guess, is being able to kind of right-click or whatever, drop down menu on your friend list in the the login screen or whatever the main screen, and join their server. you kind of can't do that right now, and it's not working. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what this means. Is it going to be like more user friendly, which I'm okay with that, but the servers are limited to 50 people, and 50 people are always like they talked about this like it's going to be a breathtaking change that will make multiplayer gameplay so much better and easier, easily accessible. But I don't understand. I'm very confused by this. We
Well,
have it already, and it doesn't work, and they're going to change the visuals of it, and now it. How will it work? If server is full, the server is full, right?
and then server cap will go up eventually, but at the same time, like you were saying, we don't need granular details of where our friends are. If we want to work with, or if we want to go do something with them, we're going to give them a heads up. We're going to use the comm system in game or use Discord to say, hey, what are you up to? You want to go hang out and do something, and then
Or
coordinate
in-game
that way.
chat if it works.
Right, right.
Corp chat, alliance chat, whatever there is.
So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do, and I really hope they don't get to. Well, and one of the other things is just like in Eve, there were spies. So there were certain people that could spy on other orgs and get information on where people are, what they're doing, stuff like that. I wouldn't want that kind of thing in Star Citizen to where someone just has to log on and see, oh, Orc Guide is mining on Yella. Well, don't worry about what
I'm
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 doing.
I'm not having friends in my friend list. I
Yeah.
wiped my friend list already because it's so easy to find me, and now this will make it even easier to find me. And for me, this is anti-social feature
Hmm.
right there. Like if we are being pinpointed, I'm not gonna give it to Orchid even. I don't care. I don't want to be followed around. I'll just talk to him on Discord. You know what I mean? Like I would just have empty friend list. And if my or org has or alliance has like location of every player, guess what? I'm flying solo.
Yeah.
And but this might be a breaking point for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Like if I have to decide to fly alone and play alone instead of having friends and being corp. I don't know. I hope I misunderstood that really.
Well, yeah, and especially it coming into alpha, you know, I'm hoping that the experience players have with other games such as Eve and even other MMOs that they can give that feedback
Any
to
full loot MMO,
developers.
yeah.
Yeah. And simply just giving an online status is enough, but like we discussed, I mean, we play games on Steam together, and you know, we have to sometimes put ourselves as offline mode.
I'm always offline.
So the only way we can join is okay. Let me go switch myself back online. Join. Okay, now I'm going back offline. So
I don't want to be followed, man. It's
yeah,
like I
yeah,
want my privacy in game as well.
yeah, and that's what I'm hoping for is that there's going to be some kind of options to toggle on and off, like your status first and foremost. Are you gonna show people that you're online, or you just want to show as offline all the time? And then, do you want to allow people to join your server? Yes or no? Do you want to show your location? Yes or no?
I'd be
Stuff like
okay
that.
with showing my location to a certain, at a certain time or,
Yeah,
to a certain person. Sure, I'm
yeah.
down for it. That's fine.
And that's why I hope, like in the interface later on, hopefully it's some kind of toggle that you can just click to turn it on or off, and that's it. So you don't have to sit there and like remember every single time, what you want to do. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, let's segue. Let's go into something else.
Um, okay. So the next one was quantum routing. I think as a future explorer, this is very interesting to me. Basically, they call it quantum routing, but basically what it is simply some people. So what we never experienced as new Star Citizen players is you could be, and some of you might know, you could quantum jump to an open space directionally. And that's not a thing anymore. You have to spool onto some of the onto some of the uh, objects or anything in space, right? And so the question was, we have this open vast space, and how are we going to explore if we are only capable of jumping towards the certain already explored destination? I know we can already like turn off our jump, but you're still directed somewhere, so it's very hard to like calm the desert. But they had a really good explanation that I really liked. I am a huge fan of directional scanning in space games. You already have a scanner that can pinpoint like further, in a smaller cone. And they explain this very simple. You will be able to scan in the targeted area, and if there's something within the range of your scanner, which is great because I want to scan further with dirt than someone can with freelancer dirt than someone can in, I don't know, Max. Um, then if there's something there, you will be able to jump towards the scanned object.
Right.
um, Good.
Yeah. No, and I
Um,
hope that does come. That's got to become a thing because your pathfinders and explorers are going to be the ones that are going to find certain areas for
mhm.
mineable resources and stuff like that. So that's got to
And
become a
then
thing.
sell,
Yeah.
or discover or whatever.
Yeah.
Put it on the map. Or no, I mean that entire gameplay is kind of. I think we understand the basics of it, but yeah, I think this makes perfect sense to me. I'm loving it. Can't wait to see it in game.
Yep.
It will take a long time, but still,
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see undiscovered objects in game anytime soon.
No.
Which is that's fine. I don't mind that.
Yeah, we'll
The
get there
next
eventually.
one, they are adding. This was a very like just the stats on the items that we are buying, such as weapons. I don't know, the ship components that you will see how fast the quantum drive is, what's the fuel consumption, how much damage a certain SMG is doing per bullet or whatever. The regular MMO stats that you can see when you're buying items, we should be able to see that in the UI when we are in the shops. They're working on a new UI for shops as well, so that's pretty normal. They also mentioned they will be able to sell things to vendor, which they have some. It's technically ready, but they have some interference with it with some other aspects of the game. So it's kind of breaking the game in a way. As long as we know that you will be able to sell your ship, to sell your, duplicated armor and stuff like that, okay, it will be there. They have it in their mind. The stats on Bibles are in there. Good. I don't need to have it right now. The sooner the better, but take your time, guys. I don't care.
Yeah. Not
Um,
very important right now.
yeah. The UI for the elevators will be implemented that we have on Karak, which is a new one that you interact with the actual keys on the whatever platform.
Hmm.
Are coming to everything basically, instead of having like inner thought system where you get like thousand like options, in Lorville and whatnot.
Right. Right.
That was supposed to be in 3.9x, but now it's moved to 4.0. Eh, I like that. It's great. I want it in the game. Um, but yeah, when it comes, it comes. Like delays like this, I that's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the little things that, like the little tweaks and stuff like that. I don't really care if those get pushed back. It's when you hear
It's
about
nice to know that it's
entire,
coming, right?
yeah, when you hear about an entire planet getting pushed off the pushed back on the roadmap, that's when it starts to really hit
Which
hard.
yeah, which a lot of you probably know already, and we mentioned it, but just to end up with that, Crusader and Orison are moved. Um, they are actually removed from the roadmap, but it was mentioned by CAG they will come uh, at the end of the year. Now, people are saying that means 4.2. Who even cares about this number anymore? When will 4.2 even be? Is it this year, next year? Um, it's not on the roadmap anymore. And to me, this is sad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a little heartbreaking because I mean, right now what we have to look forward to is 3.9 with the prison system and um, new Babbage. 3.9 is going to be nice because we're going to have a lot more. to do, a lot more to explore. Should keep us pretty busy, but you know, I think Crusader was one of those things where people were looking forward to that quite a bit because Crusader's already here. We've already been to
Crusader is
Crusader.
where everything happens already.
Yeah. So
Like
it
that's a home to most of the citizens.
yeah.
Let's be honest. And everyone speculated that when Crusader comes, something will happen with PO as well, Port Olisar. It will either be replaced with the modern station because this one has been there forever, but or it will be destroyed by Xeno or whatever. The other thing is, I don't know how much you look into it, but dude, uh, that so every planet in Stanton system is owned by a corporation, and it comes with its own lore. Uh, Crusader Corporation and its lore is absolutely fantastic, mind blowing, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be my favorite place there. The fact that it's a gas giant, it's so different. The landing zone where they like, it's like to construct these beautiful ships and all that.
Mhm.
Um, uh, uh, Microtech looks amazing, but I was like, okay, another planet now. Crusader with its lore and everything. I'm like, oh man, bring it on.
Yeah.
So it's sad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see it eventually, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we go from 3.9 having a lot of content into it to them trying to get back on track to where 4.0 isn't going to be a lot of big changes. And I say that because now that 3.9 has been pushed back so much and they've moved Crusader back off of 4.0, it sounds like they're trying to stage it so that way they can get back on track with their normal updates and try to get those, quarterly updates out when they're expected and not take on so much for this next one because they don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we don't know how much longer we're going to be,
Yeah.
working from home or
And they're in multiple countries, so
yeah, yeah.
different countries come with different rules. And to be honest, if I was in their perspective, if I get used to working from home now, even if I'm more productive in the office, I would probably extend my own working from home if I don't have to for the time being, even when I don't have to anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
why risking your if you can prevent it a bit more, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Before we go on,
Oh,
I have a question for you.
okay. Go ahead.
You did not see this one coming. I have a surprise one.
I didn't get I didn't get time to prep on this.
Do you feel like our playable system, Stanton, is two-dimensional?
Yeah, a little bit because it feels like you're going to the same routes, same places. I I don't know about you, but when I pull up my map, I always orientate it to exactly the same way. I'm so used to it. And it doesn't really feel like things are rotating around. It doesn't feel like you're,
Some
you know,
things are
mo-
rotating around itself or stuff. Not everything is in the proper rotation yet, but
right.
I've been exploring the map, and some systems like Sol, for example, they have certain objects that are having like different rotation around the sun. But Stanton is everything is moving, like everything is in the same flat, um, however you want to call it, like dimension kind of.
Yeah.
And do you wish that there was like third dimension?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So the thing that kind of puzzles me is if I think about our own solar system, we get to the point where sometimes we're in line with other planets like Mars and
Hmm.
Venus and Saturn and everything. Um, and it's constantly rotating around different, speeds and everything. So that's one of the things I kind of like I said, when I pull up my map and I have it orientated to like a certain area, it, you never see like Hurston come around
It's not happening
or
yet.
yeah.
They were talking about
So
this, yeah.
no, and that's really why when you ask that question, yeah, I really do feel it's more
But
2D
even when it starts
because
rotating, it will rotate like in the same. I mean, they will rotate with different speeds, but technically they're all rotating on the same, you know, the same flat surface, kind
hmm
of.
yeah,
I kind of wish that I don't know if they cannot do it or if it would expand the space too much. But like, I wish, like, if you look at the star map, which you can find on their website, which is amazing, you can see that I think Pluto in our system is having a completely different. It's like going into the third dimension when you look at the map. So everything is going like this, and then the Pluto is going like this.
yeah.
But I never think about this, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of missing that third dimension. Yeah, it would be cool.
Yeah.
I think now that I say this, we missed another one. That is the one of the news that a lot of people ask for. Just gonna quickly explain as well. So people are asking, why can't we just jump straight to moon in another from one planet to another, straight to the moon or station, or from one system to a moon of another system's planet? And they said that they have this like the bodies are, you always have to jump to the biggest body and then the smaller, so you'll always have to jump to the system, then to the designated planet, then to that planet's moon, then to like whatever satellite or whatever you need to jump to. And I don't know about your thoughts about this, but I think for the sake of being able to follow things, kind of, I think that's okay, really.
Yeah.
It's a logic that we can just agree to follow, and they said they would require them to change the entire code and systems and everything, and that's their idea. They don't want to change it, and I guess a lot of people got like kind of pissed off with that,
Well,
but I didn't.
similar to airlines, they have certain flight paths and stuff like that. That's it's a charted path of known, like a good known path. So if you were to think about it, and you were to be at Microtep, and then you want to jump to Magda, if you
Mm,
jump straight from there to there, if it hasn't been fully charted from sublight speed, then you could possibly run into some kind of collision. You could run into something
true,
on the way. So
but
that
if you can scan the open space and jump to a random object, then I guess technically you will be able to get closer and closer, but it would take you like 10 years to get there in
yeah.
real life or something, you
Well,
know?
and that's the thing is like I guess what I'm getting at is it, the way we look at Stanton right now, it's been charted out. There's already been explorers there. They've already figured out the best ways to fly from one place to another, stuff like that. That's why we have all these designated spots that we can go to. And
Yeah.
like you hinted
Oh,
at
I understand.
before, when we can scan later on and do actual exploration and pathfinding, that's going to be where you're going to you're going to be able to scan out, you're going to see, however many kilometers ahead that it's clear, be able to jump to that point and then map out the next area. So it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to jump from Microtech to Magda and it's going to be all clear.
You will only be able to jump as far
Right.
as your scanners are capable of showing,
Yeah.
which will probably be far, but not enough to like get into stage 3 quantum drive or something like that.
And
There's no way it's gonna happen,
and I think later on in gameplay it would make sense if they were to make it where if you made certain joint jumps from a planet to a player made one, that it's just a direct. Like if you were to go from
Mm.
ArcCorp to, some asteroid field that someone mapped out, you should be able to jump from there to there without having to go into like another system or, go
No, no,
into
no.
Crusader or anything like that.
Mm-mm. That's what they said.
Right.
They said you will always have to go to a bigger, like to a system first and then to a planet. I mean, whatever that smaller thing belongs to, then you will be able to jump from that area to it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. So then that's
Um,
okay.
I I think we have to understand that it's still a game,
Yeah.
you know, at some point, and there have to be some rules and basics how they create everything. Also, if you take into consideration trading routes, I don't know, piracy, mm, bounty hunting, all that, I think it would break the game too much if you could just. But what do we know?
Yeah. Well, and
Let's see where it
yeah,
goes.
they do a lot of research and everything into this, but
Oh
there's
yeah,
an extent of how much they can actually learn and
yeah.
apply realistic or realism into the game. So without being experts in fields of quantum mechanics and you know
What do you
celestial.
mean?
Yeah.
Chris's, ship, the Aurora, made made the first quantum jump. It's a fact. We know the year and everything.
Hmm. All right, so
No, yeah,
moving
I
on.
agree. Yeah.
So we touched on it a little bit in the beginning of the podcast, and I'm glad we're at this point because I'm really excited to talk about this. So, Chegg and I got to partake in a couple events with a group called the Soul Survivors Coalition. Um, so one of our listeners, Zentric, he let us know that his organization was going to be hosting some events and invited us to come out and do some testing with them. So a couple weeks ago, yeah, about a couple weeks ago
2 weeks ago,
almost,
I think. Yeah. 2 or 3
we
weeks. I
got
don't
to,
know. Yeah.
yeah, we got to participate in their first event, which was a sort of relay race with cargo, where now the event we just did the other day is so fresh in my
I can
mind.
go
I
through it
can't.
if you want.
Yeah, go. Let's go into the first event
The
we
first
did.
one. Yeah. So the first one. This is a coalition made of you, like alliance made of you, creative um corps, and they started making these events kind of like a diamond rally. So the first thing they invited us to, and we gladly accepted to join because there's nothing to do right now towards, was so we started at Green Hex. It was teams of two. We had a random point which we did not know at the beginning where it is, with the freelancer max that has a box, one of the boxes inside. And then so the idea was, go your team starts from Green Hex. Everyone is using the same ship, which is freelancer basic. Um, Flies to that location. One person picks up the box, gets back into your freelancer, flies back to Yella to Arcorp Area 157, and then they were timing the event. You bring the box to one of the organizers. That was the first leg, and then everyone gathers around when everyone's done.
Well, and just to go into a little bit more detail on the first part of the event was that it wasn't a simple jump from point A to point B, as
Yeah,
we found out as we started the race. So we were trying to line up on the person. We couldn't get that jump in, so then we realized, oh, we need to jump to a different area. So we actually went in two different directions. We had the other team. There was only two teams in the race. Myself and Chegg, we went towards Hurston, right?
yeah. We just wanted to jump somewhere because
Yeah,
Stanton was in the way.
yeah.
It was like her L3 where we were meeting.
I think so. Yeah, it was one of the smaller ones, but
Yeah,
Stanton was in the way of where we wanted to jump to, so we started doing a jump towards Hurston just to
yeah.
get into quantum, and then dropped out, and then lined up for the jump to the actual position, whereas the other team went to one of the other
Asteroid belts or
yeah,
whatever.
another asteroid center, and then went to there. So we kind of went different directions around Stanton. Um,
Different tactics.
yeah, yeah, and ours ended up paying off in the end because we ended
Yeah,
up
we're a
getting
few
there
minutes early.
first. Yeah,
It was very, very interesting. So it was two legs. So the first leg was that one, and it's adrenaline pumping. And it was very simple, which I really like. So we made it back to the second location where we all met up. The other team brought the box, and we had some time banked in. So the second leg was ground vehicles going from area Arcorp mining area 157 or 8, I don't know, on
Yeah.
Yella, um, towards the Cutlass thread that was parked beyond some kind of canyon or whatever. And once you're out of the armistice zones, we were able to use our vehicles' weapons. And we were driving Ursa Rover,
Cortana.
um, the Emerald, yeah, the Emerald one, and the other thing had the basic one. And we did not manage to kill each other,
No, but
but
we got a good heated battle going back and
yeah,
forth.
and there's a great video of this that we're gonna link for you
Yeah.
guys to see. And we made it there first, and we brought the box to the final destination. But it was close. That one was really close. Orca was driving, I was a gunner, and we won. And the organizers actually had a reward. We got we both got a $10 gift card for our Star Citizen account, which was really nice.
Yeah.
But more than that, it was very well organized. They are new to this and they're kind of testing. And even there, I figured out that the response of people playing Star Citizen is kind of low, which was kind of strange to me because there's not many things to do right now, and I think everyone can make a team of two, but it turns out it's very, very difficult to find people.
Yeah. Well, and
After that,
that was kind of
sorry,
their first attempt at it.
first attempt.
From what yeah, from what they were telling us. So, uh, it didn't have a lot of participation, but it was a lot of fun, and they had a certain navigator that would help you get through on the ground vehicles, get through that first leg. So, like Chegg was saying, you had to drive through a certain ridge into a canyon, down to
They had
a
route mapped out,
yeah, yeah.
and
So
one of the organizers was navigating everyone. They put us in like different Discord groups, and they would come on and be like, "Hey, are you guys okay? This is what's happening." It was very well organized. There
yeah,
was more organizers than participants in the first one,
yeah.
but it was a lot of fun.
But the
Wait,
second one,
you don't
oh,
know the second one.
all right.
You left. Then after that,
Oh,
we had
that.
a race with so they organized the same day. The first one was really good. It was like 1 hour long. Oh, everything was like 1 hour long, 1 hour and 20 minutes maybe. And then the second one, we wanted to like since there people were coming on, some left, but some showed up, and we had another race, which was a cyclone race, way longer because cyclones are much faster, and it was just two team, one gunner, one driver. In this one, I was driving, and Samurai was a gunner, and it was very, very nice. Four teams started, and we had like navigation from the skies. We were all in the same channel, which was kind of a clusterfuck. They were just testing something for the next event, kind of. That was not official. There was no reward or anything, but it was fun, and we made it there first. So it was a long route, and we were supposed to get to a carrack somewhere on Yala. And the problem is, we made it there first, way ahead of everyone else. IP so far is doing very good with this, our organization.
Mhm.
However, I was a driver. I don't like Carrack. Don't kill me, okay? I've never been on one. I just don't. Well, now I did, but at the time. And the idea was to open Carrack and get inside with your Cyclone. And it took me 1 minute trying to find. It was a lot of fog. You know how Yella can be brutal with the elements.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find the key. And then by the time I found the key, no, I didn't even find it. I gave up because another person came to open it. Then I figured out, shit, I'm gonna run back to my Cyclone and drive us in. and I entered their cyclone.
Oh,
Like it was, and then Taurai was like, "There's another car!" Oh no! So we lost that one. Yeah, but it was fun. But then,
but then,
what was it,
uh,
yesterday?
yeah, yesterday we got invited to yet another event, which was even better than the ones before. So this one was a three-part event, um, which it it was really good. It was really planned out well. It's just some of the issues in the game ended up becoming a problem at the end of the event. Um, so the first part was a ground race again. We had three-man teams this time. There was three teams, three-man teams. Um, so there was a driver, a gunner, and a navigator for each team. The driver, of course, would drive the Ursa rover through whatever the designated area was. The navigator would fly ahead and navigate you through the course to where you need to go. And then the gunner, of course, would be the one trying to shoot the other Ursa rovers. Um,
And help with shields,
yeah, that's what
navigation,
we found
and
too.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it
Yeah.
it is quite helpful. You can modify the shields on the fly and help keep yourself a little bit safer. So this one was really cool because we had three Ursa rovers going head to head. There was two Fortunas and then one regular Ursa rover. We kind of jokingly said at the beginning of the race, "Hey, let's target this regular one, get them taken out." Um, so that event we started off. It was pretty cool because we were all very close to each other. In the beginning of the race, me and Chegg ended up in the middle of both of those Ursa rovers, and
Jesus.
firing at the regular one, we actually took him out. Like at the beginning of the race, we took out the regular Ursa rover, and then it was just head to head against the Fortunas. Um, so this one was a little bit different where we started at the one outpost and then followed a certain path and then ended at the same outpost. So we had to go through a certain valley, go scale a mountain, and then drop off a very big drop, a clencher of a drop, and
Hmm.
then follow your navigator back around to a certain area to drop back into the starting location. So this one was a lot of fun. I think this was a lot more fun than the other
No, it
one. I
was the
think.
best, I think.
Yeah, and we had so much of a lead on this one that the other team actually had to resort to sending their navigator to try and interfere with our excellent driving. Flipped us over, and we still were able to recover and get to the finish line uh,
Way ahead.
way ahead of them. So yeah. So again,
It's really
IPE
good because
dominated.
you don't really know the route, like you know roughly, and for the next event we talked about it, they will only explain the route to your navigator.
Right.
So as a driver, you will have no clue about where you're going. It's kind of like a real life rally, and you need to have really good communication with your navigator in order to get to where you are. And this proved really interesting, because yeah, even if you flip or get lost, the R team still can fuck up as well. So there was constant adrenaline pumping, and this was just the first leg, right, of the thing.
Yep.
So one team unfortunately got disqualified,
Yeah.
but they deserved it. They literally smashed into us from the skies, um, with their Avenger Titan. Actually, it was Warlock. Um, by the way, the reason we killed, I went through and I watched the WOD. The reason we killed the White Rover is on the rovers when you use K, sometimes the back door does not close fully. There's like a little bit of space, and I think that's a shield hole.
Oh.
And that's when I looked at it, they had it open. I made sure like I always would reopen and reclose so that we can have the door closed. And I think that's the reason why they exploded that. easy. It was good though. It
Yeah,
was
it
a
was
good
a lot
brawl.
of fun. Oh yeah.
So then
Um,
after that, we were taken to Houston
mhm.
at Gate 6 in Lorville, and our navigator was pulled into the navigation channel. They flew all the navigators around to show them the new route. Um, I had no clue where the fuck I'm going. And we started again, and unfortunately, because of the strange collision with the well for both teams, obviously, I managed to flip our rover, and somehow it ended up leaning on the tree with its roof, and there was nothing we could do to flip it back. And our navigator, Samurai, was not able to get there because it's a no-fly zone. He tried; he was very close, but then the AI would take over and fly him away. The organizers tried to jump in and take Orchid back to um, the spawn point at gate 6. In the meantime, I left the rover, and the rover managed to free itself from the tree.
Self-corrects. Yeah.
Then I jumped in and managed to like flip it over, and they brought Orchid back, so we continued. And that one was really long, um, long route, and in near Lorville, there's some huge like drop in the ground where they placed the vehicle. And you can explain. So the second leg was to get to that point, and then the third one was FPS, where two team members are protecting VIP who was unarmed. That was
Right.
me. So
Yeah, so we had some issues going into the third event, or the third leg of it, which was supposed to be an FPS mission. Um, the first issue was Chegg, for some reason, could not equip any armor or any weapons or anything like that, so we decided to make a designated person on each team as their VIP, so we had to protect them getting onto the ship. uh, Turns out both teams ended up in the wrong position at first, so we kind of got told by the event coordinators, hey, you guys are all in the wrong spot, so you all need to leave and get to the right spot. So we get back in the vehicles, we drove over to where we were supposed to be, and then started the FPS portion of the event, where we got plagued by desync issues. It essentially ended up,
big time.
yeah, it ended up being I was standing on top of someone, teabagging them and shooting them in the head, and it wouldn't kill them. We had another one where they were trying to shoot me, and they unloaded an entire clip. Never even got one shot into me. So,
I
uh,
got shot out of nowhere. I tried to get to you on the mountain, and then I made it there, and
yeah,
I you disappeared. I turn around, you're like 400 meters away. Like what the hell?
yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of issues with the FPS and portion of the event. So we decided to just call it a tie. We ended the event
Yeah.
there. They
There
are
was a
cord.
reward again. I just
Yeah.
want to stress this because if you join our server, Discord server, which you will find down there, we will definitely inform everyone who is there whenever there's an event like this. Or you can join their server, Discord server. Um, and we would like more people to join this. It's a lot of fun, man.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's uh, oh my god. Even with the desync issue, they're still learning, but now they are like making a big deal out of this. I want to say they will not they will not have a reward for every event because they are funding it from their own pockets.
Right.
But they even mentioned making a league with points that would take several events for the organization teams where it like they're thinking about is in such a like big scale that is blowing my mind, and they're in the really good like they're pointing in a good direction where they're like you will have to designate your for the next event you will have to know who your navigator is, then the navigator will be the only person that will be there with the process of creating a route so that they know exactly where you have to go. And then when you get into your team of three, you will depend on your navigator fully. And man, this is wow.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
amazing.
what to say. It's so
They're
much fun.
really going into this content creation, and I we tried to do this in IPE when we first started out, creating these types of missions and stuff like that, but we just couldn't get enough interest in it, and we couldn't get enough coordination to get the event started. So I think
And
it's
once we had problems with this thing big time.
yeah, yeah.
So that
So
kind of yeah.
yeah, like Chuck
I
said,
don't feel like doing it again.
I think we'll piggyback off of their organization hosting these events, and we'll give that information. We'll probably be doing recaps on the podcast as we do these events, and then,
100%.
like Chegg said, you can join the Chegg's Discord, which is down below. We'll post the information in there, and then we'll also link to their Discord, where we can also have the information directly from them. So real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Star Samurai, our navigator, for the second event. He did an awesome job helping us
Yes.
out, getting us through it. I mean, it was
Saving the
great.
day as well. Last moment,
Yeah.
man. We were yeah. Yeah,
So
that was good.
yeah, we had a lot of fun. We're hoping as we do these events, maybe we can, let people switch in and out of different teams. We want to get more teams representing IPE. So anyone listening to the podcast, if you are interested in joining IPE and representing us in these events, you can always check out the Discord for more information. Let us know if you're interested in joining IPE, which is now ranked #1 in these events. Uh, Let us know, and we will get you on there so you can help represent our organization. I also wanted to shout out to Lucky, Syzygy, Viva La Admin, and Zintric for hosting those events, getting us the information, letting us come on and enjoy it. Again, it was a lot of fun doing that. I'll link down below to the video that Viva La Admin put together. Um,
I think it was lucky, but
oh, was it Lucky? I'm sorry.
I think it was lucky. Yeah,
It's,
but that
it, it's
yeah,
one of them too.
that's fine. Yeah, we'll get the proper link. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And
We'll
he's
link it
gonna
down
make the
below.
one for the new one that I think he's working on it right now. I will be having some things on my YouTube as well, uh, because I've recorded the first one and I've streamed the second one with no UI. So I'll definitely make like a short explanation, like few minutes with a little bit of footage. But lucky, I think it was lucky. Let me check. But crap, I don't want to. I'm not. Yeah, it was lucky.
Okay.
So he even made music for it. Like it's really nice edit of the first event, and I can't wait to see the second one.
Yep.
And you can see that these guys are putting a lot of love into it. And let's just talk about this a little bit. I was very skeptical about bot events. We talked about this before joining. I would be like I want to play, but I have so much stress about how the current situation with servers and desync is that I. However, it was so easy to join, jump in, and actually enjoy.
Oh yeah.
I think that's very important. Like they actually took care of everything. Whenever we had a question, they were there to answer. If there's like lack of vehicles, they provide vehicles. Like there's literally you can be a brand new Star Citizen or three friends playing Star Citizen that just started playing now, and you have three Auroras or Mustangs or whatever, you can join, make some money for your account, possibly, and enjoy flying or driving some nice vehicles as well. So it's very very simple. They have it all sorted out in Discord. Like they have different channels for teams and everything. Like really, kudos to the organizers. Just yeah, it's just great.
Yeah. Very awesome. It was a lot of fun, and we look forward to being in the next event. Hopefully, maybe this weekend they'll have another one ready for us. We don't know, but it's
We
been
don't know.
back-to-back weekends that we've been able to participate in these. So again, check out the discords. We'll have the information there. Any
Another
other?
thing, this pushed me into thinking again on time now about Daimar Rally, and I am down to I stream sometimes.
Yeah.
Used to stream a lot, but not anymore. And I'm down to start practicing for it, man. Like Yeah, and if you guys are interested in seeing how this entire thing looks with navigation and driving a vehicle from point A to point B without knowing where you're going and the entire like communication and everything, I think me and Orchid might do a few of these things on my stream. Maybe make some YouTube videos to just explain how it works. And I don't know, I would be cool to have like one or two teams that represent our organization IP in Daimar Rally as well. And I think this is a great way of getting into it because it's a smaller scale event. You learn about bumps, you learn about how different moons or planets are reacting or how your vehicle is reacting to them, and stuff like that. It's ooh,
Yeah. Don't be surprised if you see Star Citizenship Daymar Rally entry for 2021.
yep, that would be fucking amazing.
Yes. All right, Shaggy. I think that concludes episode 8
Yeah.
of our regular podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, thank you again for tuning in, listening to the show. Links all down below. If you're watching the podcast on YouTube,
YouTube.
please hit the like, hit the subscribe, check us out for notifications for new videos. And if you're listening to this on a podcast source, thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope that you have enjoyed yourself.
Hopefully, we'll see you in 3-9 and have a proper episode next time. Thank you for
Yes.
being with us. It was a pleasure making another one, and I'll see you in the worst, guys.
All right.
Bye bye.
See ya.